Hi everyone, welcome to Homeschool Autism Life. My name is Jamie, and today's video is a Plan With Me Gather Round Homeschooling mini unit called Indigenous Peoples. And this one has been one of the ones that I've been really looking forward to. I've been excited about doing it, and it's one of the ones I picked to do just on its own in a month that I knew was going to be super, super crazy and busy for us. So if you are new, welcome, welcome, welcome. And again, my name is Jamie, and I am mom to one autistic boy and two typical daughters. And so life is busy and rewarding and a lot of fun. So I chose to do Indigenous people in April because we've got Easter, my husband's birthday, and my son's birthday all in one. And it's just a lot of work. So the next part in there is my children coming and moving around, but don't mind them. Today, the other part of the reason why I chose Indigenous people for now is our last unit that we're going to be doing for the year is North America. And so I thought that these two would marry really well together as we are Canadians, and I really want to spend a lot of extra time talking about Canada and the provinces and just making sure that their knowledge of geography and history of Canada is really, really solid. So with Indigenous peoples, what I've been super pumped and excited to do as well is infuse it with a little bit of personal family history. And so one of the things that we did was in the area where the Algonquins lived in particular is where I grew up. I grew up in Ontario. We live in Alberta now, but it just brings it a little bit more alive and connected for our kids. When we're talking about the fur trade, we're going to be talking about an ancestor named Louis Dupuis who arrived in Canada in the 1600s in New France or Quebec, and he was a fur trader. And so I can bring these stories to my kids and talk about how the Indigenous people groups were a part of our family history as well. And the other part too is we talked about the Six Nation tribe, and we actually have a family story where one of Colin, my husband's relatives, actually knew a lot of natives personally and was friends with a doctor who was the second medically trained doctor who was Indigenous in Canada. And so it's been really, really fun to bring those connections into this unit as well. So what I usually do at the beginning of any unit is go through and try and pick out and figure out what books we're going to look at, what are assigned books, what are our read alouds. So because we are going to be doing this for just the 4 weeks of April, we've been doing a couple of the unit or the lessons 2 in 1 day just to make sure that we have it done. But I picked up this Children of the Longhouse, and I've been really excited to see how some of the principles and ideas we get to discuss, about their creator, how they saw the creator, and how we talk about God now. And so it's been really good for conversations. I really appreciate this book as well because the pronunciation I always feel really bad because I'm sure that I am butchering all names from other cultures. And so I think I probably still am, but I feel a little bit better because at the very least, Agwali does not look like Agwali phonetically. So I really appreciate that. For my girls, they're assigned books that they're going to be doing book reports on. For Ceana, I have this Robert Munsch Black Flies, and this was actually written in concert or with an Indigenous person. So that was a lot of fun. And so she's already been able to zoom through that. And again, if you know Ceana's story at all, and maybe I'll link something down below, it has been wonderful to hear her read and do this by herself and not be intimidated by it. With Inara, I got this book, Singing Wheels. And it's an older style book, but she's really been enjoying it. And there's so many interesting topics that she can talk about, but it's about settlers and Indigenous people either working together or fighting and all of that kind of stuff. So I'm really interested to see what she thinks about this book, but she has been enjoying it and loving it, and that's half the battle. We've got this, What Was the First Thanksgiving? So this will be our backup read aloud. So once this one is done, then we'll go into this one. I just really want them to understand, even though this is Indigenous peoples in America, we also have an ancestor who was on the Mayflower. Awesome enough. And so this is one of those things where I can talk about those people as well and just really bring that alive. So another book we have is The Sharing Circle. I pulled out these books. We haven't really used them a lot, but like I said, for a lot of this, we're going to be using stuff that's in concert with, what do you call it? North America. So we're going to be able to kind of go through some of these lessons together. I've got this old book called Wildlife Stories, and there's some that include Indigenous peoples. And so I wanted to have that out. Weird Canadian words. Now, again, some of these books you will see in my North America unit as well, but there's a lot of Indigenous words. There's some French Canadian words, so Métis words that we wanted to put together as well. I have this museum called Canada, and this one is a lot of fun. I did this with Darian when I think it was like the first year that I was homeschooling, because I decided to do a unit on Canada. And this book my husband had, so they show lots of beautiful pictures of artifacts and historical things, paintings. But I would go to the back and I would find, if we're doing Prince Edward Island or whatever, and I would find an artifact that was found in PEI, and Darian would make up some pretty awesome stories about the artifacts that we found in here. And so it was a lot of fun to do that. I've got the Canadian landscape, which again will show up in the North America unit. It's just full of beautiful pictures. And then these ones also will be in the North America unit, because we are going to be doing just a couple of days, I think, on each province. I really want Canada's geography and history, I think I've already said this, to be kind of solid in their minds. And so this, with the museum one, will be something that will be shown and we will discuss and talk, but it talks about the natives as well in these books, and so I really wanted to share that with my kids. And I also did look up a lot of YouTube videos for each lesson, and so the kids at the end of the day will watch a video that I've shared. And the one thing that I would recommend for an adult to watch first, just to make sure that you know where any awkward parts are, there's a part about, oh my goodness, my brain is gonna, yeah, but there's a settler who comes and he has to deal with a mutiny, and so it doesn't show, but it shows enough that mommy isn't super excited, so I fast forwarded a little bit. But it's called The Story of Us, and it's just available on YouTube, and I will leave a link down below. But there's like 5 or 6 different videos talking about the story of Canada and how we became Canada. So I hope that that was something you might be interested in. And then I actually found this online. We are going to, along with the story of Louis Dupuis, our ancestor who came over from Paris, France, This is all about the fur traders, and it's a kayak magazine, is an educational one. I will leave a link down below to this, but I just printed it off, and I was really excited because they have a game, a fur trading game that we can play. And what is the other thing? And they were talking about Black people who came up to Canada to be a part of the fur trade, and I wanted to just start the conversation as we get into North America unit, talking about the slave trade and stuff like that, to talk about these free Black individuals who were a part of the fur trade as well. So that is how I've planned for the Indigenous peoples mini unit for Gather Round. I hope that you have enjoyed this and that you got some good ideas for your unit as well. Yeah, I hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful homeschool week, and we will talk to you next time. Bye.